All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea. The idea that everything you've been taught to value, well, it might just be trapping you in a golden cage, one that you've built yourself.
So, let me just ask you a question right off the bat. Are you a materialist? I mean, really think about it for a second. We throw that word around a lot, right? For someone who's obsessed with, money, fancy cars, the latest gadgets, all that stuff.
Okay, but what if I told you the real problem, the deep down issue with our world, isn't that we're too materialistic, but that we're not materialistic enough?
Okay, let's unpack that because I know it sounds like a contradiction. See, the source of our whole modern mess, it doesn't actually come from loving the material world. It comes from, well, a kind of deep, hidden hatred for it.
This really reframes the whole idea. A true materialist, they would love matter, the actual physical stuff of the universe, right? They'd look at the earth, the air, the water, and see it as something, sacred even.
But just look at how we actually behave. We're dumping millions of tons of plastic into our oceans. We're burying beautiful green land under endless concrete. We're poisoning the very rivers and air we need to survive. We're turning a living, breathing world into a collection of dead objects. Now, does that sound like someone who loves matter? No way. It sounds like someone who actually despises it, someone who wants to control it, to turn this living world into dead, manageable thing.
So, okay, if we're not materialists, then what in the world are we? Well, the term for it is abstractionist. We've fallen in love not with reality itself, but with the symbols, the numbers, the words, the concepts that we use to represent reality.
And this confusion, this mix-up between the symbol and the real thing, that is the absolute heart of the problem. And once you see it, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere.
Think about it. We obsess over the menu card, the description, the fancy words, the idea of the meal, way more than the actual taste and nourishment of the food itself.
Or the map. We get so lost in our GPS, our grids, our borders, and we totally forget to just look up and see the beautiful, wild land that's right there in front of us.
And here's the big one, maybe the biggest one of all. We prefer the bank balance. We chase after the numbers in an account, completely forgetting what those numbers are even supposed to represent in the first place, actual real-world wealth.
Which, of course, brings us to our greatest, most powerful abstraction of all, money. And wow, have we become slaves to our own invention.
You have to get this. Money isn't wealth. It's not. It's just a measurement of wealth. It's like an inch is a measurement of length. Real wealth, that's the tangible stuff. It's energy, raw materials, technical skills, food, housing, clean water. We've totally confused the ruler with the very thing it's supposed to be measuring.
Let's take the Great Depression as a perfect, if tragic, example. One day, the whole country's working, building things, farming. The next day, bam, everything just grinds to a halt. The message from the top was, effectively, this. But why? Did all the factories just disappear overnight? Did the fields just vanish into thin air? Did millions of skilled workers suddenly forget how to do their jobs? Of course not. Physically, nothing had changed at all.
The problem, they were told, was that they had run out of money. And this just perfectly illustrates the absurdity of it all. Imagine a construction crew, right? They've got endless piles of steel, concrete, all the materials they need, and they stop working. Why? Sorry guys, we've run out of inches on our tape measure. It's complete and utter madness.
And look, this kind of madness isn't just some historical footnote. It shows up in the most basic, fundamental parts of our daily lives, like in the food we eat and even the clothes we put on our bodies.
Think about our food. We go to incredible lengths to hide from the reality that, well, to live, something else must die. We don't see a living animal. We see a product. It's killed and processed somewhere far, far away, out of sight. And then it just appears, this clean, bloodless piece of meat neatly wrapped in plastic. The whole process, the life, the death, the messy transformation, it's all been abstracted away, hidden behind sterile supermarket aisles.
So what are we eating? We're eating numbers, proteins, calories, vitamins. We've turned food into a chemical equation, but we're not tasting life. I mean, just think about instant coffee. We drink something that tastes like burnt water, just to save 3 minutes. And what do we do with those 3 minutes we saved? We probably spend them rushing to an office to stare at more abstractions on a computer screen.
And it's not just our food, it's our bodies too. They're just as trapped. We wrap ourselves in this uncomfortable armor. A suit is a rigid uniform that limits how you can move. A tie? It's been called a symbolic noose. It has zero practical function. Our shoes are like little leather coffins for our feet. And high heels? They're practically instruments of torture that force a mechanical, unnatural walk. We've literally put our living, breathing, dancing bodies into these rigid cages, all to serve an idea of status or seriousness.
Okay, so if we're living in this prison of symbols, this golden cage, how the heck do we get out? How do we actually break free?
Well, the answer is incredibly simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It's this: stop eating the menu. You have to stop consuming the symbol and start actually experiencing the reality. Stop reading about the meal and start tasting the food.
This is really a call to action. It's about reconnecting with the actual physical world through your own senses. Get up, eat real food, come back to your senses. It means choosing the incredible flavor of real coffee over the so-called speed of the instant stuff. It means actually feeling the grass under your feet instead of just seeing a green square on a map. Because this is life. It's not in the bank account. It's not in the job title. It's right here, in this moment.
So here's the bottom line, the main takeaway. We've mistaken the symbols for the substance. For a long, long time, we've been chewing on paper while a whole feast is just sitting there waiting for us. The first step really is just recognizing the menu for what it is, just a piece of paper. So, I'll leave you with this question. Are you ready to taste reality?